Daniel here with NAIOP New Mexico, and with me is.
Sal Perdomo with Titan Development and the chair of the Government Affairs Committee for NAIOP New Mexico.
So it's been a while since we've chatted with you all about the work that we do daily on behalf of the commercial real estate development community in New Mexico. So we wanted to tell you what we've been working on at the City of Albuquerque, a little bit about the state work that we're doing ahead of the 2027 legislative session, and then a little bit about our process for those who don't know how we arrive at opinions. So I'll kick it off. City of Albuquerque. Over the past month, there was conversation about raising the minimum wage. The way that the bill was drafted was going to increase the minimum wage tied to different metrics like rent, and it would have been an unpredictable environment for small business owners. So what NAIOP did is we got involved and we worked with counselors to have a more predictable scheduling. So over the course of the next 3 years, not tied to any other KPIs, just $1 a year until it reaches $15 an hour. This it is a minimum wage increase, but it is again more predictable for those small business owners. You might be asking, why is NAIOP getting involved in a small business issue? And it's because we understand what minimum wage can do to the overall economy. And so while perhaps our developers and members aren't necessarily the ones paying minimum wage, they're typically far beyond it. It just still matters to the overall ecosystem of our community. That's why we weighed in here.
This allows small businesses and large businesses to plan out over the next 3 years and manage their overhead appropriately. The large increase in 1 year will be devastating for a lot of small businesses and large businesses. Spreading it out is a better solution.
Mhm. So NAIOP gets involved in a lot of different things. We also put a lot of pressure on entities to improve their processes, and we want to conversely make sure they get the kudos they need or they deserve when they do something right. So what's going right at the city, Sal?
Yeah, Rhiannon. The city of Albuquerque recently announced that they will be selling off 200 parcels that are owned by the city and selling those off to private development, private investment. What we are extremely supportive of this and extremely happy that the city of Albuquerque did this because those are unused parcels and unused vacant land that we believe can be put into production for investment, for development, and be put into good use. This allows for a better business environment and better business ecosystem within Albuquerque.
And it also helps with infill. So while you might have beautiful development in an area that was privately owned, if there's a publicly owned property right next to it, it can hurt your property value. It doesn't inspire that kind of activity you were hoping for. So I think this is going to be a really nice synergy of good things happening on the private sector and the public sector coming into play their part.
Yeah, and the next area of kudos is really to the city of Albuquerque and to the planning department and the planning director, Alan Varela. We recently met with him and he gave us and informed us that commercial permits from 2023 to 2026. In 2023, average commercial permit took 120 days from submittal to approval. That is all the way down to 27 days this year. That's major improvement to the ability for development to occur quickly and for development to occur in a predictable manner. So major kudos to Alan Varela and to the planning department and to the city of Albuquerque. We are still working with the city on working through the entitlement timing and getting through the entitlement piece of development, which is still longer and complicated and really hard to manage. But we hope over the next year or two or three that will continue to improve.
Yeah, and what I appreciate about the work that the city of Albuquerque is doing on the permit side of the equation is that they're really honest about their measures. So it's from the time that you submit your application to time of issuance that they're capturing that amount of days. I think that's incredibly important as we're trying to characterize and have transparency at multiple governmental layers. Is on the private sector side, what are we seeing when we push the button to submit? And when they can expect an answer back. It's not necessarily when a file is opened or something to that effect. So thank you to the City of Albuquerque and the Planning Department for your leadership there. We look forward to working with them on entitlements, and we're hopeful about what can come out from there. Then finally, there's a piece of this overall government framework that is really within the hands of the public, and those are boards and commissions. One of which is incredibly important to the development community in Albuquerque, which is the Environmental Planning Commission, also coined the EPC. So when things are going through the entitlement process, they go through this body, this commission that determines if it can have a variance, if it follows code. They have a lot of power. And there's 9 people that are sat on this commission. Each counselor gets a person that they can appoint. It's always very important to have somebody who has experience in development, construction, or a related field because they can understand what they're looking at and if it should be permissible or not. And we have a few openings coming up. So listen up. We have 3 that I want to flag for you. If you live in these areas, you know somebody that works in these areas, or someone in your office lives in this area of town, let us know. If they are called to service in this way, I know the community would be really grateful for it. So the first one is District 1. That's Councilor Tejas on the west side. Anybody that lives there has an interest for service and helping make business easier in New Mexico or just move things along, this is a great fit for you. The second one would be District 2, downtown. I think a little bit of the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center. That's Councilor Joaquin Baca's district. And then finally, District 8, Councilor Dan Champagne. That is like the northeast part of Albuquerque. Tanawan,
North of
north of
Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Yep,
Mhm.
Town and East.
That would be an incredible thing for anybody to do to serve on this commission, and a great deal of thanks to those who are already serving. It is a great deal of work, but it is highly impactful. Again, District 1, 2, and 8. Know anybody that lives there? You live there? Please submit your interest, and we'll get you through the process to be appointed. You get voted on by the council, in fact. Then on to the state side of things. I've been involved in this conversation over this coalition. It's called the Housing Abundance Coalition, brought together by the statewide Home Builders Association, also known as the HBA. We're trying to get on the same page as it relates to housing, whether it's multifamily, affordable, single family. We all know we're in a housing crisis, but over the last few years in the state legislature, there's been fragmented efforts to get things done to make it easier to build or money for people to buy homes. And so the hope with this cross-section group coming together over the last few months is to say, here are the top 3, I'm going to just say 3 items that we would love the legislature to pass this year. Certainly, our solutions around increasing our housing stock are vast and many. But if we keep going up to Santa Fe with a lot of great ideas, they all kind of lose their weight. So the point of this group is, again, to get on the same page. We are in the thick of our work, coordinating with even unlikely partners. We're working with like neighborhood advocates, with homeless advocates too, knowing that we have to increase the stock. And what does that look like from the zoning side of the equation and the financing side, both for the purchaser and those developing? So stay engaged there. We're excited about what will come out.
I mean, the state needs housing across all levels, whether it's low income, middle income market rate, different types of housing as well, whether it's single family homes or high density apartments and everything in between. Some of the things that we are looking at accomplishing through what Rhiannon just described is, reducing fees and reducing costs of housing, maybe reducing some GRT items as it relates to construction, furthering bills that were passed previously, reducing potential hurdles and regulations that are coming in the way of providing more housing, just making it easier to build housing for New Mexicans of all socioeconomic statuses.
Mhm. And that's why the name of the coalition is so interesting. It's the Housing Abundance Coalition. We need all housing types. All solutions are good solutions. So we're probably going to have another month or 2 before we can come out as a group saying, here's what we'd like to see. And again, NAIOP will be a part of that big reveal. Finally, I want to end on a little bit of our government affairs process. For those who are unfamiliar, what we do is every week I reach out to the committee and I look at different agendas. whether it's the state, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, Bernalillo County, all the way down in Las Cruces sometimes, saying what should be flagged for our group. I'll send it to this committee that is by appointment, so you have to apply to be on this committee. And I'll say, does this matter to our industry? Should we weigh in? If so, what should our position be? And so we're tracking that constantly. And that's what would prompt me to go to a Rio Rancho City Council meeting or to Albuquerque and speak up and coordinate with counselors. So it's a consensus group there, trying to figure out what would be best for our industry. What kind of folks are on that committee?
Yeah, it's a lot of people, obviously all NAIOP members, but a lot of people in the construction industry, developers, affordable housing members. We have civil engineers, brokers, all people that are in the day-to-day of the commercial real estate space and can properly opine on different legislation that is coming through and represent our membership fully there.
And while that's one piece, and we're doing our best to be as proactive as possible, track things, or even introduce things ourselves, that doesn't mean that we catch everything. So to anybody watching this video, if anything comes across your desk, what if it's as little as like a fee change, or it's as big as the big uniform building code change and update that happens at the state? Send it my way. I can give it to the Government Affairs Committee. We can weigh in. We can be your voice. And what is really great about association work is that we bind together to have a unified front to either support things or, in some instances, fight things. And it keeps your business out of it in a way so you don't have any retaliation, or perhaps it's not even your wheelhouse to do advocacy. That's why we are here. That is what we're uniquely skilled at here at NAIOP, is the advocacy work, and we want to do it on your behalf. I tell my board often and the Government Affairs Committee, I'm only as good as the information that you give me because I don't do your work daily. So please send it my way. We'd love to be your voice. If you can be our ears and eyes, that would be helpful too. With that, Sal, anything else happening on government affairs?
Thank you all for listening.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll try and give an update in the next month or so. Look forward to chatting with you all. And a small secret, next time we talk to you, we won't be NAIOP anymore. We'll be CRETA. So keep an eye out for that. New brand, colors, everything. We're excited about this change.
CRETA stands for Commercial Real Estate Development Association.
Yes, thank you, Sal. It's a mouthful, but we'll get used to it. Okay, see you next time.